Good evening. Welcome to WSBI, your resource for success podcast program, where you get to meet inspiring women-owned businesses from across the country. And now, for your host, Kimberly McLemore.
All right, hello, and welcome to another night of sharing. My name is Kimberly McLemore, and we have with us Colleen Grant, owner of Irie Wellness Coaching, LLC. And welcome, Colleen. How are you?
Thank you, Kimberly. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm very excited about this opportunity of talking to you all the way from Oceanside, California, correct?
Yes, that is right.
All right. See, I've been doing my homework too. So yay. So I'm glad I got that part right because, you know I didn't want to say you were from California, but I wanted to make sure I got what part of California you were from. So I'm real excited about having, like I said, this opportunity to talk with you tonight. What I'd like you to do before we actually dive into any part of this interview is, could you please tell the listeners just a little bit about yourself?
Well, I am an island baby. I am from the beautiful island of Jamaica, and I love having fun in the sun, fun on the beach. Hence, we live here in Oceanside, California. I am all about family, fun, fitness, food. They're all a part of who I am and our culture. So that's pretty much who I am.
All right. I was wondering where that accent came from. I was hoping that you told me where you were from. I was like, you got a beautiful accent. So it's going to be great to learn more about your business and what inspired you to get involved in this business and wanting to help other people. So just tell me, I guess, a little bit about how you got started into the business and what inspired you to do the business.
Okay. Well, let's start off with the name. Irie in Jamaica is happiness, positivity, energy, vibrance. And that's always a part of who I was growing up and just a cultural element of our lives. At a young age, I was always involved in anything to do with health. Whether you had a scratch, a bump, I was that person to give a helping hand. So I first began my career in health as a physical therapist, still am today. But working in that environment, I saw the need for more help outside of the healthcare setting. And that's where I started doing things such as health coaching and personal training to help those in the community on one aspect, as well as to help those in the hospital on the other aspect. So health and fitness have always been that part of me.
Okay. So so you said you're still into physical fitness. You do actually work in the health side and health and wellness side. So you're mixing the both with your business, which I think is phenomenal, and it's a great way to do that. But talk a little bit about what really truly inspired you, besides the fact that, like you said, you were a kid and you're like, hey, I'm the one who always wanted to help individuals. What made you decide to really jump into starting the business, and when did you actually start the business itself?
Okay. I did physical therapy for about 10 years, and one of the current themes or the recurring themes were patients who had complications because of diabetes, hypertension, stroke, obesity, and these were things that are lifestyle related illnesses. Mm-hmm. So it really put a bigger burden on my heart to say we need to help them before they're in the doors of the hospital or before they're in the doors of the nursing home, or having an amputation or loss of a limb due to weakness. So it kind of really put a bigger burden in my heart to say, how can I help beyond the walls of an institution? And that's where the health coaching and the personal training in the community really was birthed for me. Because you can see people get better in the hospital, but how can I prevent you from even coming there? Not that I work myself out of a physical therapy job, but I know that need is there, especially in the minority community. Absolutely. where we tend to say, oh, I have a little sugar, just a little salt, and not realizing the true impact of kidney problems, heart disease, losing your sight. Mm-hmm. So that really put just a fire in my heart to say, okay, I know I'm helping here, but how can I help in the community?
Mm-hmm. And the one thing I like what you just said is that what I really want to pinpoint is that, with a lot of people who work in the health and wellness or work in health period within the community, a lot of times they're telling people what they're doing, but at the same time, they're not living that same life. and
Right.
sometimes it amazes me and it kind of frustrates me when I'll go to my appointments, to see my doctor, my regular appointments or whatever. And you have people in there who can barely walk, but they're telling you, well, you shouldn't be doing this or you should be doing that. But I'm like, you're showing me that you're not even speaking and living the words that you are preaching to me, that I may need to do better on. And so, that's a part of what I see sometimes in the health and wellness community. And even though we are all structured differently and we're not supposed to be the same, I think it's very important that if you're going to walk the walk, you need to talk it and do it all at the same time. And I think that what you're doing, I think, is phenomenal because, like you said, you're seeing this every day. You're dealing with these patients, but before they get to the hospital, why not educate them so that they understand, how to handle themselves personally, so that they're not laying up at the last minute saying, well, I wish I had have known this. And of course, we all know that, this information is always out there, but a lot of times it's how do you get to that information?
Right. How do you get to it and how do you apply it once you have it?
Exactly. So I really, like hearing these types of stories because, it's prevalent that we all understand as in our the minority community, it's always this issue of sometimes not communicating about our health and how it, it's that consistent circle of within the families, that, because there's not communication, the same problem happens over and over and over. And then, like you said, once you do have the information, is how do you apply it? So, being able to communicate and I guess talk to me a little bit about the programs that you do offer within your consulting business.
Okay.
Excuse me, your coaching. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You're fine. We offer one-on-one coaching, personal training, and wellness workshops, and I'll break those down. Okay. One-on-one coaching is truly the process where, for example, you and I would sit together. I want to know what you already know. Mm-hmm. We'll do some education as to things we can do. We'll set some goals, and I'm really trying to find out what is holding you back, what you need to get to that next level, and then walking with you through that process to get there. And eventually I will step out and you will already have the tools you need to sustain yourself in that. So you're not going to say, oh, I've been working with Colleen for 10 years. Right. No, I worked with her for 6 months or 3 months, and now I know how to apply this information, how to be sustainable with it, and where to go. So we have a couple tools like motivational interviewing and evoking change talk and all those things to bridge that gap between knowledge and action. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Then there's the personal. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I liked what you just said about the one-on-one coaching, about the fact that you're asking people, what is it that you think that you already know? Because that's important. Because, I think a lot of times we know our own bodies. And like I said, we think that we're doing some things right. But we may learn, obviously, that we're not doing all the right things, and it's not that what we may be doing is considered something wrong, but at the same token, it doesn't hurt to have more information to understand, well, here's what we can add to this to improve what it is that you need to work on.
Right. And then we have the personal training, which is just one-on-one or in a small group. Mm-hmm. And I normally do it in person's homes because some people have that fear of going to the gym and being out and being seen. Mm-hmm. I always laugh at my husband that he has a gym face and there's certain gym attire and you may not feel that comfortable. So we typically start off in one's home for the personal training. And then wellness workshops are just little lunch and learns, educational things that are hosted in the community.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. It gives people options. And like I said, especially with women, a lot of times we're not as comfortable about like you said, being in the gym environment and having everybody look at you as you're going through your journey of trying to, improve yourself. And I know some gyms do offer, in our area, some gyms do offer a women's gym so that, within the gym itself, so that you don't have to feel like you're being looked at. And because it's intimidating,
Yes.
No matter how well you think you look, there's always somebody out there that you're looking at like, man, I wish I could look like them. And it's not about you looking like them. It's about you being your healthy you.
Excellent.
And I think that's where most people miss the boat, because I always call myself a gym rat, and people laugh at me. Oh, you go to gym at 5:00 in the morning. I'm like, yeah, it starts my day off, and even though we all have our own struggles within ourselves, it's like every day I'm still out there pushing it and kicking it and making sure that I don't lose that drive of reaching the goal that I want to lose. But I try not to compare myself to other people, because that becomes, one of those things where you look at like, oh, I'm just going to sit down in the corner because I'm never gonna get there. But that's not necessarily true, because our make in our body is not the same as everybody else's.
Right.
So it talked to me. I did a little bit of research. So explain to me what CHIP workshops are.
Okay, so CHIP stands for the Complete Health Improvement Program. It was originally designed for those with coronary artery disease as a way to help them recover during their cardiac rehab programs. So with the program, that's really a lot of education and application about how to eat right, making those changes in your diet, as well as exercising, proper hydration. The classes can be held once or twice a week over like a 12-week period. The beauty of it is that at the beginning, you get your blood work done to check your blood pressure, your cholesterol, your good and bad cholesterol, your triglycerides, your blood sugar levels, your height, your weight. You do all of that in the beginning. You do it again midway through the program, and then you do it at the end. And what is wonderful about it is that sticking to it, having that support in a group, we have seen persons literally either decrease medications, not have to go on medication after being told by the doctor that that's their next step, and have an overall weight loss. So this is just a structured program that we walk them through educational videos, materials, exercises, diet changes, through the whole 9 yards.
Which is important, yeah. So you're not leaving anything out, so people understand that this is where you're at and this is where you can be. So that is interesting concept, because I know a lot of times, there's not too many people who are educated with all the pieces you have on the health side. So when they're trying to train people in the side of doing their exercise and so forth, those are some of the pieces that they're missing. And then you have to go out and you got to find a nutritionist, or you got to do all these other things to make sure that it's balanced properly. So
right.
I like the concept that you have there called CHIP. But explain to me about some of the challenges, with this business, because there are other entities out there. How do you work around some of those challenges that you have?
You mean other businesses that are in the same, like competitors?
Well, similar. Yeah, you have competitors. We're talking about, you have the gyms, they're competing. And then, of course, I'm sure there obviously are other health and wellness organizations out there that may be doing something similar. So how do you work around that competitiveness?
One of the things that I have found is word of mouth is your best friend. So that has been, and having testimonials. So that has been something that, really working with my clients. Hey, if you love it, tell your family members, tell your friends, let me know and refer them to me. So that has been one way to overcome my marketing issue, as well as the saturation of the market with coaches and trainers. Another way that I've found to overcome, for example, competing with gyms, is not only in terms of how I price, but the fact that it's in the comfort of someone's home, or I'll have them come to mind for this local area. And that really is, I find a lot of people are having difficulty with, say, their health, whether it be diet or exercise, or they want that weight loss. There is that barrier, not wanting to go to a gym, not feeling they have the right attire, or people are looking at them, or they're just not comfortable, very self-conscious. So being able to offer in-home therapy at reasonable rates, bringing all the equipment, that has also helped in terms of competing with local gyms that offer these great discounts. And, it's open, all hours of the day, but if you're lacking that confidence, then you're not going to be utilizing that.
I agree with that.
So those would be the main, just competing with other coaches as well as other trainers. But at the same time, I feel that because I offer so many things in a one-stop shop, that has also ease of accessibility, ease of access to all the information. So that has been another way that we've been able to kind of overcome some competition. So you don't have to go to 5 different professionals. You can come here and have access to all these resources one stop.
Okay, yeah, I like that. And like I said, it's about convenience today too. People live in a world today where everything is going 100 miles per hour. So being able to have that convenience, and like I said, even though you may not be open 24 hours a day, you are offering a full package that you're not going to be able to find, particularly in a gym all the time. Or like you said, you may have to have a personal trainer. So there's all those other entities where they're specifically hitting one item, where you're trying to hit a multiple amount of items to help increase the volume of the individual, so that they can do better for themselves. But do you provide any type of information? Do you work with like corporate entities as well? Because, health and wellness is very big now with corporate
wellness.
Mm-hmm.
Initially I thought that I would do corporate wellness.
Mm-hmm.
However, just sticking true to my premise of being able to provide it within the community, that's something that we decided not to do.
Mm-hmm.
So really haven't stepped into that scope. This is more so on a one-on-one community basis, within my local area.
Okay. All right. Well, because that's kind of, I don't know if I wouldn't say it's so much competitive as it is. It's just something that a lot of organizations and businesses and corporate people provide, because everybody's into the quote unquote health and wellness boom, so to speak. So I was just curious that, whether that was offered, because I noticed that you provide wellness presentations. So your wellness presentations are just based on within group environments?
Yes. For example, group environments, it could be to a family, it could be at a local church,
Mm-hmm.
could be at the local library. So yes, it's all community based.
Okay. All right. So if you had just a question now strictly on just business based here, if there was a woman or anybody who wanted to come and talk to you about going into business, what piece of advice would you give them?
About going into business, I would say before the branding and the logo design and social media pages, I would definitely say sit down and write a detailed business plan. If you need help through SCORE, SBA.gov, Live Plan, local chamber of commerce, go and get those resources and write down, get help getting a detailed business plan before you even invest a penny on anything else. Mm-hmm. Hash this out. Target audience, marketing, funds. You want to be a debt-free business to begin with. Hash those things out first, and definitely find a suitable mentor. You may go through 1 or 2 or 3, maybe 4, but it has the emphasis is on suitable, compatible mentor.
Right. And
to help you on the process.
Exactly. And I couldn't agree with you more. And I was so glad to hear you say that, because, everybody wants to come into business, but they want to jump right into it with all fours without understanding how important a business plan is. And what people don't really get is that the business plan is not just a one-time phase. It's something that you can utilize as you continue to grow. You want to be able to go back and look and say, okay, what have I accomplished? Where am I at? What could be the weaknesses, or what are my strengths? Should I change this, or should I keep things as they are? It's a plan that you can use to grow year in and year out. And that is something that I focus consistently with my clients on, is that, okay, well, when was the last time you did a business plan? Do you even know what one is?
Right.
And it just amazes me how many people will just like, oh no, I just started my business and now I'm doing this. But 90% of the time, most of them are out of business within the first 90 days, or either they're still in business, but they're struggling so hard because they don't understand the pieces like you were talking about, the marketing piece, your target market, your location. I always talk about the fact that, is this a business that people really want? Do you really know if this is what your community needs? The research is, I couldn't say how valuable it is to make sure that you do your research. So it's always good to hear somebody talk about that before you start investing your time and your money. Do a business plan. And those organizations that you mentioned, SCORE and so forth, they're all in every state, and it's free.
Yes.
So you can't beat that at all, right?
Cannot beat that.
So that is great. That's an excellent piece of advice that to offer. So could you tell me, how would anybody, the listeners, be able to get a hold of you if they were interested in getting your services? Okay.
So they can email me directly. The email link is myiriecoach, so MYIRIECOACH @gmail.com. And then on Facebook and Instagram, you can like and follow us on Twitter. And it's My Irie Coach is our hashtag.
All right. So that was easy. That was great and easy to get. Of course, social media platform, everybody has to have them. So that's an easy way to get a hold of you. Do you have any last words for our interview this evening?
I would say this. I encourage everybody to be Irie. And what that means for us is I stands for investing in yourself. R stands for rediscovering your dreams. I means ignite your passions and edify your mind, body, and soul. So we want you to live that Irie lifestyle by doing all those things for yourselves and for your family.
Excellent. Awesome. All right. Well, I really do want to say thank you for taking time out of your busy day to share your story and some information with my listeners this evening. It has been a pleasure.
Yes, same here. Thank you, Kimberly.
You're absolutely welcome. But for everyone else, I want to say, please come back and listen to us. We're here every every Thursday evening at 7 p.m. We are now on iHeartRadio, so make sure you tune in on Thursday evenings at 7. But until the next time, you all enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you.
Good night, everyone. We will be back next Thursday evening at 7 p.m. Follow us on Spreaker, www.spreaker.com/user/WSBI. View our new WSBI website anytime at www.wsbillc.com and on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram.